what you have to do is to understand all of them, because it will let you create your own solutions, and the guide will help you with that in this way of thinking.
I think when I heard that, it resonated so deeply with me, because I've also struggled with this sometimes in my own perspective. I think also being a consultant for PMOs, I sometimes catch, and I'm sure you've done this in the past, you know how you'll come into an environment and you'll sense it, right? And then you'll start having visions of what they could, and you start talking, and you can see how there's a spark of interest in your partner's, the person you're talking to's thing, and you can see how that it starts flickering a little because they're getting confused, and you're like going and you're doing, like, and you could do this and you could do that, and then you have to, you mentioned the fact, and then you should be close to the board, and they're like, that's not going to happen, right? So what I love about this concept is there's certain elements about trees that are good to know. There's something that's important about the whole community and the bird's eye view, but the concept of it's good to be your own tree, and even if you're the same type of tree, you'll still grow differently based on your context. I think it's a little bit maybe upsetting for some of you to say, but listen, I want a more deterministic way. I don't want to have to deal with complexity or ambiguity. Just tell me the way it is, damn it. Give me step 1, step 2, step 3. And the beautiful message actually is it's much more dynamic than that, but there's still something that can be learned and passed on. It just requires a little bit more cognitive, and an individual and not deterministic kind of thing.
This is an important point, because there will be, your tree will be different from any other tree. It's unique.
And it should be.
It can be a mature tree, it can be a young tree, it can be a tree that is flourishing, it can be a tree with some difficulties. The idea behind the guide is you have to think, right? So if you are looking for templates, just a step-by-step that you will automatically follow, that's not the job of a PMO leader. PMO leaders, they need to think. They need to rethink, sometimes. So if you believe too much that something in a PMO should be like this or like that, maybe it's time to ask more questions before giving more answers, because PMOs can be very different. Even if you are very experienced as a consultant or as a PMO leader, we have to take care, because actually, our experience can influence us to understand that all trees are like that,
In psychology, they warn psychologists not to project onto their patients.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they say, I hear what you're saying, but it's about me, and I'm going to project what my experiences are. I think that's important.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with you just made me think of something. Many years ago, I used to play with this term. Do you know who the concept or the fable of Johnny Appleseed?
No,
I want to culturally pass it on to you. Johnny Appleseed, I don't know if he actually, I think there's a historical person that kind of, it was somebody who was famous in the northeast of the United States during the colonial times, okay? And he used to live out in the wild, and he was famous, he was in love with apples and apple trees. And what he would do is he would, all throughout the northeastern United States, he would plant apple trees, and that's what he lived from. That was his passion, kind of like your passion is PMOs or trees. And he would sell them, and he would often sow the seed, and sometimes he would take care of the tree, sometimes he wouldn't take care of it, but that was his passion. If I may say, you are in your role as an icon and a servant leader to the community. Absolutely. You're kind of a Johnny Appleseed, and I applaud that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.